Welcome to the Philantrepreneur Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd, designed to offer tips, strategies, and insights to empower nonprofits and entrepreneurs with sustainable win-win solutions. The Philantrepreneur Show is sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, building capacity through education and professional services.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Heidi Anderson, founder of Credit Cares and president of Electronic Commerce International, and my lovely dynamic co-host, Dr. Victoria Boyd, who's president of the Galaxy Group and editor of the Philantrepreneur Journal. And once again, we're here to bring you the Philantrepreneur Show, which airs every first and third Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. You know, this has been kind of a crazy week. We had the red moon, and and yesterday was tax day. Yeah, I know. I don't know if anybody saw the eclipse or when it turned red. Anyway, I was asleep, so I didn't see it. But anyway, yeah. So here, yesterday was tax day, and here's a couple of interesting tidbits from Fortune magazine on why April 15th is tax day. When Congress first passed the 16th Amendment, February 3rd, 1913, wow, that was a long time ago, establishing the current tax structure, like 101 years. Tax day was March 1st, 1 year after its passing. The Revenue Act of 1918 moved the date forward to March 15th. In 1955, some tax code revisions pushed the date a month further to April 15th. Why this time? The IRS said it spread out the peak workload. It could also be because as the middle class grows, the IRS has to issue more refunds. So I'm surprised they haven't pushed it back to June. The deadline allowed the federal government to hold money just a wee bit longer. Honestly, that was written for Fortune magazine. So, Victoria, how did you spend your tax day?
Well, actually, I had a quite exciting day. Fortunately, I always do my taxes early, but yesterday I received my first shipment of my new book. Wow, Webinar Secrets from the Wealthy Teacher. They got here in the mail, and so I have my hands on the actual book now. It's also on Amazon and Kindle, so if anybody as an entrepreneur needs some support in doing webinars, that's the place to look. Also, working on creating a webinar of my own in terms of how to really produce webinars. So that's really exciting because my background is training. I love to train. But getting back to taxes, fortunately, as I said, my taxes were done some time ago, and I didn't run around like some of the folks I saw on TV last night. And as entrepreneurs and nonprofits, financial management, especially, Heidi, there is a lot of noise coming from where you are.
Oh, is there now? Oh,
yeah.
Cute. Unfortunately, I'm up in Prescott because my mom had a pacemaker put in yesterday, so I'm helping her, and so I'm away from my normal location, and to get an internet connection, I am at the most awesome Starbucks ever, but
we know how noisy Starbucks are, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's popular. I'm gonna try to step outside. Maybe if I can just do that, I can have less noise.
Really getting back to what I was saying, entrepreneur and nonprofits, the financial management, especially within those two sectors, is unique. And there's a lot of unique regulations that they need to pay attention to. But I think the foundation of skills to be in nonprofits is really from our ability to handle our own personal finances. That's why I'm so excited about our guest today. And let's just say it's in honor of Tax Day that we're going to talk about finances.
Well, yeah, I know you're excited. I'm excited to hear from her, too. Our guest today is Ericka Young, president of Tailor Made Budgets from Fishers outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. But I must say she's formerly from Phoenix, where I usually am, and I wish she was still here. I could meet her in person. But so we have some roots. Ericka actually started out as an electrical engineer before transitioning into financial management. I'm sure there's a great story behind that. She also works with and supports Habitat for Humanity, which I really want to hear more about. So let's welcome our guest today. Hello, Ericka. You must have a brilliant mind for numbers, from engineering to finances. Please do tell us more.
Well, yes, it's kind of an interesting story only because people often wonder why in the world did I leave engineering to do personal finance, and really it is a personal story. My husband and I, we just sought out, honestly, the American dream when we got married. We were told to go get us a good education and then also go get us a good job, and that came with a lot of debt, so we had some good amount of student loans between us. We had a couple of good, car notes and several good credit cards, and that amounted to, in our first couple of years of marriage, to nearly $100,000 in debt. And it's easy to do when you're not paying attention or when you are, quote unquote, pursuing that American dream, and
right.
No one teaches you how to manage any of those things. They just say go out and get it. And
right.
so, you honestly learn the hard way when you fall on your butt a little bit, and you get some bruises and some scrapes, and you say, you know what, I've got to change from this. And so, sure, I had an engineering degree, and I worked in that field for 7 years, and I really enjoyed the statistics, data analysis, things like that. And when my husband and I found our way to freedom from debt, I realized, this is probably something other people need as well. And so I began to work with people at my church and my community and just to understand what the needs of the people were, what it is that I had to offer, and was there a really good fit for me being able to support folks on their journey to freedom as well. And so that's, how it started. It was rocky, I have to say, at first when I, made the decision to leave my career that I had gone to school for. I woke up in the middle of the night sweating. I was scared. I was crying. I literally, for lack of a better term, the real truth is I wanted to pee my pants when I made the decision. But I did it anyway, and I'm so glad that I did. That's right. That's right. But what's funny is I feel like that every time I launch something new now, or I do something outside the box, and I've gotten used to being uncomfortable because, frankly, to be comfortable, it's not as much fun, and it just isn't as creative for me, and my business gives me an outlet to do a lot more. And so part of what I want to bring to the world is that the freedom from payments gives you the opportunity to do whatever it is that you want to do, and that is exciting. So
absolutely. Yeah, and you really went into a little bit about what led you to your decision to start Tailor Made Budgets, which is the name of your company.
That's right.
But give us a little bit more about how you really launched Tailor Made Budgets.
The first thing that I did was I sent a letter to everybody that I knew. I spent a couple of months going to networking groups and meeting people, and I just made a decision. I said, if I'm going to do this, I need to get in with 2 feet. And so I gathered everybody's information that I knew, and I sent out letters to 100 people in my local area and got my first couple of clients that way. And so I did my business for about 6 months before I actually left corporate America. It probably wasn't long enough, to tell you the honest truth. I probably should have done that maybe for a year, but, looking back on it, I knew that it was time to step out and do my own thing. And so some of the rocks, or stumbling blocks in the road came just because there's so much you don't know. You're passionate about what you do, and then you don't know some of the background stuff that has to go into it. So over time, you get better at that. But in a nutshell, it was the best decision that I made, because I honestly do not look back or regret having stepped out to start my business.
Absolutely.
Well, how long ago did you do this? How long have you been in this business? It's
actually been 9 years. So I've actually
wow.
been, yes,
awesome.
I've been a personal financial coach for 9 years. Officially, I was trained about a year after I started the business, believe it or not. I made the business pay for that part of the journey. And so, yeah, it's been 9 years. It's hard to believe that this career is longer than the previous one.
Well, it sounds like you're on a wonderful path. And what can someone expect when they work with you as their personal financial coach? I mean, are there certain key elements they should look for?
Well, yes. I work with people for starting out 3 months. We go into a deep dive in our first meeting, and what I'm looking for in that particular meeting is what are the sources of pain, what are you having most trouble with, what are your behaviors and attitudes towards money, and breaking some of those down. And then also, obviously my business is called Tailor Made Budgets, and we create one. We literally create a budget that works for the family. And I feel that no household is the same. So there should not be a cookie-cutter process for how that works. It needs to be, let me understand, are you vegan? Do you eat organically? What is your family household makeup? How many children do you have? Are they in daycare? Things like that. There are some things that, honestly, are must-have for people, and I need to understand what those are. And then also understand, is there anything that, you can not necessarily give up, but postpone or say this is for later, because sometimes, I work with a lot of people who make great money. Many of my clients make twice the national average, which is $50,000, and so I'm dealing with six-figure incomes here, and so that they're no slouch in terms of their professional earning capabilities, but they haven't paid attention to the money, and so breaking it down, creating a budget, looking at how their income is going in and out, and then looking at what I call a debt-free date. I want them to be able to walk away with an idea of how long it's going to take them to get free without resorting to outside measures that are intrusive or, deal with other matters that you don't have to really get into. So it's important that we do that on the first meeting and bring some hope and some light to a situation that may have been challenging previously.
Absolutely. And you're speaking about individuals, but a lot of those traits that we as individuals put onto our personal finances sometimes segue into as entrepreneurs or if we're running a nonprofit. So, do you work just with individuals or do you also help businesses?
I do help businesses, and what's really exciting about that is that many of my clients come to me not knowing that that's an issue that they have. Some of my clients are solopreneurs or small business professionals who, they think that their issue is solely personal. But if you're a solopreneur or, a person who, has a couple of employees, if you don't handle your business cash flow, you're not going to have any personal income to manage. So so we have to deal with that first. I always say you have to deal with that first. So absolutely I work with those small businesses because that really is the source of the revenue for the family.
Absolutely.
Well, I do love your viewpoint. The budget is the heartbeat of all that you do, and and being having been an entrepreneur for many years, and now even starting a nonprofit, I could possibly use your services. But
there we go.
Come on back to Phoenix for a visit. But anyway, is there any more on that you'd like to expand on for our listeners?
Well, I do. I want you to imagine, your heartbeat has, your heart really is the source of everything. If you don't have your heart beating, you're not alive. And so I see that for the budget as well. If you don't know where all of your money is going, and maybe it isn't going where it ought to be going, right? So your blood has to pump to different parts of your body, and if it doesn't, you might lose a limb. And so
great analogy.
It's true. And
it really is. No, it is. It's awesome.
As much as people say, sometimes they say, I don't have enough money for this, or you have enough money for anything that you really want right now in the moment, or what you have to take care of. The question is, where are you currently sending those funds? And I just think about every household has a flat screen television, or, how much money are we spending on dining out? And it's not to say that we can't have those things, but, truly the real reason that you're here, the purpose, your goals, your passion, your desires, those need to be funded. And if debt or, mismanagement with money is holding you back, it's time to nip it in the bud so you can actually live the life you've designed to live. So I think that the budget is the heartbeat, because without it, you can't do anything that you really want to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And many entrepreneurs, especially like me and nonprofits, they live by the day. They actually go into survival mode versus thriving, and it's important to really plan, and you can't plan unless you do create a budget.
Right.
And you know, I know they first seek out accountants or, you know, CPAs and things, but what makes working with you as a financial coach different than working with an accountant or a financial planner?
That's a really good question. An accountant, you know, prepares you and your finances for tax season. And so sometimes for businesses, yes, that means, you know, getting the QuickBooks up in order. They have someone who does the data entry, those logistics, so that you can present your financial picture to the world, you know, basically to the IRS in a way that makes sense. The financial planner helps you design your future, meaning how much money do you have to invest for your future so that you have something set aside when you need it and your income earning years are lessened or no longer there. So, you know, the role that I play is to prepare you for both, because if you don't know what's going on in your cash flow, it's going to be difficult to hand anything to an accountant. And it's funny because I'll get accountants who send me people as a referral because they know their finances, they know their outgo or their bills or what have you, and then, you know, they've not prepared a budget or a plan because budgeting is pre-planning. The accountant's work is after the money has already gone out. So if you pre-plan, you'll do a better job of the money that comes into your hands. And then with a financial planner, I don't do securities. I don't sell insurance. I'm not the person who invests the funds for you. But people need to understand how much they have to invest. They also need to understand what could their money grow to. They also need to understand, is there anything holding them back from fully being able to invest for their future? And for us, just as a personal note, the debt that we had was over $1,000 a month in payments. And so if we eliminated that, how much more can I invest with a financial planner for my future? And that was my goal. I mean, I know to this day, and I'll probably know this to the day that I die, my student loan payment was $451.21. And I'll never forget that number because it hung around for a long time. But if notes like that, card notes like that, or credit card bills like that are eliminated due to a debt reduction plan, you can now invest those funds for your future, and that is what you have for the financial planner. They won't do a budget to help see where that money's going to come from. They just want to know that it's there.
Right. I see. You almost mapped out 3 phases. You're the first phase. Let's do the foundation. The heart of where this money is coming and how you're going to manage it, and then the accountant that then puts it into a system to report it, and then the financial planner that takes the assets or the excess to create your future.
That's it.
There's your. See, I'm so visual. I have to create. She's got the flow chart.
I just got a flow chart in my head.
I got the flow chart. As you were talking, I was creating this flow chart in my head. Absolutely.
And you've now implanted it in all of our brains.
That's right.
Yeah, this is terrific information, and we're going to cut to a quick commercial break and get back to Ericka as soon as we can.
Hey, are you a small business owner like me who wants to make a charitable contribution and needs easy access to charitable giving sources that you can automate for your business for free? Then I invite you to visit www.credit-cares.com. They have charitable giving options using their innovative merchant platform that helps nonprofits raise money and helps merchants make contributions at no additional cost to them using the products and services of Electronic Commerce International. Our giving options are easy to set up for small business. So if you have a business entity, we can donate in your business name. Go to www.credit-cares.com and see how you can make a difference every day by doing what you already do. Go to www.credit-cares.com and fill out the form or call 855-782-2737 for more information on how your business can be a difference maker in your community.
Okay, it's now time for the Philantrepreneur Show Tip of the day. Each show, we like to offer a tidbit of news or advice for our entrepreneurs and nonprofits. Today's tip is a continuation of our topic today, finances and creating that foundation. As entrepreneurs and nonprofits, every penny should count. I think you've heard that quite clear today. But how are you counting them? Sometimes there's a gap in the recording system, and we overlook small items or those that don't require an actual transaction. They really can add up and have impact. Make sure all outputs and inputs of time, in-kind, and volunteerism is being recorded to provide a real picture of your operational cost. Okay, we're going to take one more quick commercial break and be right back.
The Philantrepreneur is dedicated to your success. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com to find and explore a wide range of services and resources. Register and receive benefits such as training, early bird discounts, and the Philantrepreneur Journal, a nationally distributed bi-monthly digital publication serving everything Philantrepreneur, filled with tips, strategies, and resources to support your goals. Need more marketing exposure and have community impact? The Philantrepreneur is proud to offer Ads for a Cause, where 10% of your marketing purchase goes directly to charity. Contact us today to place your ad. Increase your reach in a professional digital publication or radio spot. It's a great marketing tool to send, post, or share in a variety of formats. Deadlines are on a rolling basis, so don't miss being included in the next publication. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com and click the Journal Marketing Ads tab today. Mention this show and get a 10% discount. www.thephilantrepreneur.com.
Well, welcome back to our special guest and financial guru, Ericka Young. Ericka, if you were to tell those who are struggling with how to deal, I am tripping all over my tongue. If you were to tell those who are struggling how to deal with debt and creditors right now, what would it be?
You know, the first thing I would say is breathe. Because honestly, when we're in debt, we are holding our breath. We are waiting for that next phone call. We're like, what's going to come in the mail? You know, how am I ever going to get out of this? Honestly, just breathe, first of all. And what that does is it helps you to slow down enough to make rational, sound, good decisions. And then the next thing that I would say is, you know, honestly, you need a budget so that you understand how much you can afford to pay these guys, and then you need a plan to figure out how you're going to get there. I think a lot of people struggle with dealing with their debt and creditors because they don't know how it's going to happen. And that's why on day one when I work with my clients, we figure out what your plan is going to be. And I call that finding your debt-free date. And so if you can focus on the finish line, then you know what to do today. So, for instance, the Boston Marathon is coming again this weekend, and there's been a lot of publicity about it. Not a single one of those marathoners would be out there if they didn't know how long this race was. If they said, okay, we're going to run a marathon and it's just as long as you want to go, really? You wouldn't have many people signing up, you know? But because you know it's going to end at 26.2 and you see mile markers along the way, that gives you hope that you can finish. If you're at 12, you're like, I'm almost halfway there. If you're at 15, you're like, hey, I got less before me than I had behind me. And so then it helps you for people, you know, who are in debt. You know your finish line. If you know it's going to take you 2 years, then, by the way, that's about the time I like to say it's going to take you to get out of debt with the way that I work with people. But if it's, you know, 12 months in and you're like, okay, all I have to do is get another 12 months. I'm halfway there. Look at the results I've gotten behind me. It's going to help you. So breathe, get a budget, get a plan, and then walk it out and give yourself the time to do so. For those who are in, you know, extreme amounts of debt, it might take more than that. But honestly, if you're not making sound decisions because you haven't exhaled or given yourself the time to make a good decision, it's going to be difficult.
Absolutely. So what are some real, practical tips that we can do right now to help us work towards being debt-free?
First thing is list your debt smallest to largest. So if any of you have heard of Dave Ramsey, I'm one of his certified counselors, and I have adopted his debt snowball method, which is list them smallest to largest, start with the smallest one first, and attack it with everything you've got. So for my husband and I, we had our credit cards were the smallest ones. Our biggest one was our student loan debt, and so it would have taken us years to find any freedom if we had started with the student loans. It would have taken us, again, more years if we had done, the car loans before the student loans. But we had a credit card that was $500, and so if I attack that with a vengeance, then I can see a quick win. It's like, okay, something's gone. That's one less thing to pay. So start with the smallest balance first and give it all the extra money you can, and then work your way up to the ones with the higher balances.
Wow, that's just, it's so simple.
It is.
It does, yeah. It really is. So, well, as this is the Philantrepreneur Show, and we've clearly seen what a wonderful entrepreneur you are. But what are you currently working on in your community?
Well, I've got one fun project right now with Habitat for Humanity. I'm working with the partner families, and I've created a workshop, and it's really called Manage Your Money. It's really Manage Your Money, honey.
Love it.
But we go through my signature system. I have 4 steps that I take folks through, and the goal with the partner families is for them to have a solid financial footing as they are endeavoring to partner with Habitat. And Habitat does, they basically allow the person to get into a home without any added interest. Obviously, they have to do some sweat equity on their own home, and that reduces the cost in terms of how much their home is. And so they really get to pursue their American dream without the added stress of a large mortgage payment. And the challenge sometimes for those folks is that they do have other debt. They do have other things going on in their life, and they've not stabilized their financial lives. Everybody needs a roof over their head, but are they really managing the other things that are going on in their life? And so that's the work that I'm working on now. And also, one of the things I'm working on with them as well is their home ownership readiness. Just, is this the right time, or are there other things that they need to be doing prior to getting into a Habitat home? So it's really rewarding because you see these families who are, life has hit them hard. I spoke with recently a woman who is a widow. She's young. She's in her 20s, and she is a widow, and she's got 3 little boys, and she's doing her very best to handle the things that she needs to handle. And we sat there after the meeting, after our workshop, and mapped out what it is that she needed to do, and I saw her debt-free in less than a year. But the challenge was that with all the stress, being a mom, not having her spouse, and just life in general, it was difficult for her to focus enough and figure out what she needed to do and how she needed to do it. And I saw the light bulb go on for her, and that was just exciting to see, that moment where she understood that it's possible, and she doesn't have to be worried about her finances. She just has to walk out her plan.
I think the whole
fabulous service.
is just, helping people come above and stop drowning, get above that water line, and is so impactful to community. We in the Philantrepreneur concept here, we often talk about the business itself and how they work with a nonprofit. But just what you're doing, your business itself has such a huge impact on community. It allows people to then have the capacity to even think beyond their own needs and
right.
maybe then have more impact in the community. And I really hope our listeners have been taking notes, because there were some really valuable tips that you gave. And,
awesome.
for advice or takeaways, what would be the one thing that you would offer?
You know what? Start where you are. I think a lot of folks get hung up on, I wish I had known these things before. I wish I hadn't done this. We all have those things. I mean, but the challenge is that if my husband and I had never gone through what we went through, I wouldn't be here today doing what I'm doing, helping others. And so your journey is your journey. Don't worry about the past. Use it as a stepping stone to get you where you need to be. And never stop striving. Don't stop in the middle of the journey. Make sure that, as you see that finish line, just keep running. I mean, sometimes you're going to stop and get some water on the sideline. Sometimes you're going to need to stretch. But get back on the path, because the freedom is completely worth it. It's completely worth it.
Absolutely. Well, I have to let everybody in on a little secret. Ericka is my cousin, and I am so family.
That's
so
right.
proud of her. Ericka, your financial insight and even your passion for your work and those you serve, it really shines through. Also, the commitment you have toward the community, it's just sort of awe-inspiring. But we haven't touched upon something that I know is another big project that you're working on. Okay, spill the beans. Come on, share it with our listeners.
Well, for many years, we have supported missionaries. We have supported folks who have gone overseas and, lived overseas. We've supported students who have gone to different places in other countries to witness and to be a blessing to others. And our church that we joined when we moved to Indiana put out this opportunity for the youth to go to Haiti. And I was always intrigued and interested in doing a missionary project, but I didn't actually think it would happen this quickly, for one. But I was really touched because our pastor at our church, Heartland Church, is a missionary. He grew up in Haiti, and he has strong connections there and goes back frequently. And just to be able to see the youth and their experience 2 years ago really made a difference to me and my family, and I really didn't want my kids to go to Haiti without me. So we jumped in with 2 feet and said, hey, this is the time, this is what we need to do. And what I'm really excited about is not only making an impact in that region in terms of, helping to build schools and to bring food to the children there, but also how it's going to open us up and, giving my kids the opportunity to see that life can be different, and it is different in a different place. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the poorest nations in the world. And, I think it's important that we show our kids, sure, you can grow up in a debt-free household, and that's fantastic, but you also need to understand why it's important to be debt-free so you can support causes like this. So that's really exciting, and that's happening in June. So,
wow.
Yeah, we're jumping
and you're
in.
raising funds. Go ahead. I think I need to teach you how to self-promote. Give them the GoFundMe address.
Thank you. So, yes, we are raising funds. It's called GoFundMe.com. You can find us Youngs to Haiti, YOUNGS to HAITI. And you'll be able to see our videos, see my family, and the passion behind the work that we're looking to do. And so we're getting close to our goal. We're not quite there, but that's exciting. It's just awesome to see how people respond and get involved. And everybody who participates is just making a difference for everyone in Haiti as well.
Well, Ericka, you're just nothing short of amazing, really. I seriously, I've totally just enjoyed, just having you on the show, and I know that there's going to be people who are listening who want to get in touch with you. You mentioned how to make a donation for your Haiti project, and that's. Yes. But how do they get in touch with you about your other services?
Well, TailorMadeBudgets.com is my website. You can also reach me by phone. I still have my Phoenix phone number, but I do reside in the Indianapolis area. My number is 480-200-2516. I always do every other week a newsletter that's free. It just gives tips and tools. We just had one yesterday go out that just gave some tax tips, so you might want to catch up on that one. And it's also on my blog on my website. And then I also offer a 30-minute consultation free of charge to understand the needs that you have, and really it's a debt-free strategy session so that we can understand how you can get to your next level, what that looks like, and what are the quick things you can do right away before you decide to jump in with 2 feet on coaching. So, TailorMadeBudgets.com, and my number is 480-200-2516, as well as Ericka, ERICKA, at TailorMadeBudgets.com.
That's you know what? I actually think we have a call in. Let me see who's coming on.
Oh, really?
Hello. Is this someone waiting online to talk to us?
Hello. Yes. How you doing?
Hi. What's your
Dr.
name?
Boyd. My name is Larry Sanchez. I don't know if you recognize the name.
Oh yes. Hi, Larry. How are you doing? Okay. You got a question
Good.
for us?
Yes, I do. I was wondering, do you guys have any good recommendations on how to find? I know you guys were talking about financial planning and everything and strategies, but one of the things that kind of sets me back, not just in my business but also personally, is a good CPA or a good bookkeeper. I have so many receipts, and then when tax season, as we all know, is coming up pretty soon here.
Well, it's here. It was yesterday.
Yeah, you know what I mean. My question is, what recommendations do I need to? Could you give me to find a really, really good either CPA or bookkeeper? Because I have so many receipts, and if I just give them the box and say, here, deal with it, and I'll pay you. But I feel like some of these people don't really treat you on a personal level. It's almost like you feel like a number, like a Social Security number to them.
Right.
And when tax season rolls around, it's like, okay, this is what you owe, and live with it. It's not, there's not any constant interaction, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
what do I need to?
Let's try to answer that question. Ericka, do you have anything to add right off the top of your head?
Well, I do. So I agree with you, Larry, actually, that you can be a number that comes in and out at tax season with a CPA. That's the honest truth. I've worked with people like that. I understand that there's a lot going on between January 1st and April 15th. I actually prefer to refer folks who are in your position and need a good bookkeeper to only a bookkeeper. So not someone who actually does taxes, and someone who will not only clean up your books and create them so make it present date, but also you send them those receipts every other week or something. Like it's automatically sent to them. They're in control of it. It's not a big box on April 1st. And so I think it should be a separate entity, to be honest with you. One place to go right off would be a QuickBooks Pro Advisor, and they are people who have been trained in the QuickBooks ways. So you're going to, at least have someone who really knows the software tool and
Absolutely.
can definitely add value and answer any questions that you have. But I would recommend you.
May I jump in here real quick? Just because
Sure.
I have somebody who's absolutely fabulous. She's in Phoenix, but she can work with anybody anywhere. So I don't know where you are, Larry, but her name is Angela Sticka-Snyder, and she is the Texanista, but she's also a full-charge bookkeeper, CPA, and she's delightful, and she loves helping people do this. You just give her that box of receipts, she will hold your hand and treat you like, she's wonderful. So
and what I'll do is I'll get that information for you, Larry, because I know you personally. I'll get it from Heidi because and I will send it to you if not later today, but before the week is over. How's that for you?
Yeah, she's delightful. She has everything you need wrapped up in one package.
That's awesome.
Yes. Well, thank you for calling in. We love having callers coming in here.
Exciting.
Yeah. So this is just about wrapping up today's show, but would you like to be a guest with and share your project on the Philantrepreneur Show? Are you a philantrepreneur? Drop us a note at thephilantrepreneur.com. The 2014 schedule is filling fast, so reach out today. Visit www.thephilantrepreneur.com and send us a note.
Well, as always, this has been just another terrific show, and we're here the first and third Wednesday of every month, so mark your calendar for Wednesday, May 7th at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, as we welcome Joanna Ashley, who is co-founder of Women's Heart-Centered Empowerment Network. That sounds like a great guest. So this is Heidi Anderson and Victoria Boyd saying thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Philantrepreneur Radio Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd. Get involved. Follow us on Facebook and other social media outlets. If you wish to share comments or suggestions or appear as a guest on our show, visit www.thephilantrepreneur.com. Contact Victoria Boyd. Email her at theboyd@thephilantrepreneur.com. The Philantrepreneur Radio Show is a production of and sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.